Hello everyone, this is She's Connected SA. I'm Petro, and we are speaking to two people today, and our first male guest, Andrew Griffin, and accompanied by Diana Smith. Hi Diana and Andrew. Hello.
Hi Petra. Hi.
Hi. So I think we have some sound issues. I just said hello to the both of you, and we're talking about the hidden mind and bioenergy today, also about living threads. So, Andrew and Diana, do you want to take a moment just to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. My name is Diana Smith, and I'm an energy healer. I originate from Zimbabwe. And studying energy, I was invited to go to Ireland to study something called the hidden mind and bioenergy by Andrew's father, Tom Griffin, who's the founder of the protocol. And it was the most dense because the hidden mind is a modality that takes you very much deeper than anything I've ever experienced before. So we can go down into the root causes of disease and dysfunction and heal them. So it's very, very powerful indeed. And it was
Amazing. And thank you, Diana. And Andrew, give me a little bit about, a little bit of information about your background.
Hi Petra. As you know, I'm from here visiting Diana and basically assisting her in promoting the hidden mind and hidden mind bioenergy therapy here. So my own background is I started working with my father Tom about 7 years ago. I studied health promotion in college, and I suppose growing up I was always interested in health and healing. You know, from watching my dad just we'd go out and people just on the street or wherever we were, and they'd come up to my dad and they'd say thank you. I met you a few years ago and I've felt since then, or I brought my child along and they've never had a problem since. So that was kind of something that stuck with me from a young age. And for some people, alternative healing, energy healing, it's something kind of strange or foreign. Some people, they don't believe even what really it's a case of not understanding. But for myself and for even for my sisters as well, it was nothing strange to us because we grew up with it. Dad would often treat us if we were feeling sick or if there was any kind of any problems ourselves. And I suppose it really is a case with sort of alternative healing and particularly energy healing of understanding. And I find that we as a society, it's something that is still or people are not around the nature of a human being, that we're not just a physical body, that we have an energetic and electrical properties. And the thing is, even science explores this quite readily. There's been so much science around the fields of energy in the human body and the electrical properties of the body. Everyone knows that even within our own bodies, if the functions in our body comes through electrical signals in the brain. In the last few years, particularly in Ireland, we've seen a big shift in people's consciousness and awareness health and around rediscover, even your social connections, and it's holistic. Like health it's a holistic thing. It's not just one aspect, and I think that's where we find that the reason our kind of methods have become so popular in Ireland is that we're helping people that often can't be helped with traditional sort of medical treatments or methods, and we find that one of the main reasons behind this is just that it can often be very one-dimensional. That if you're just going to look at the body as a purely physical, biochemical, and biochemical machine, then you're not going to have a true understanding of the causes of illness or disease. And I think that's natural healing and what we're doing at the bioenergy and the hidden mind is appreciated, because it's the whole principle is about improving the person's ability to heal themselves. If someone comes to our clinic, one of the first things I would say is that I can't heal you. Only you can heal yourself.
Yes,
it has to be your body. It has to be your mind or your emotions.
Yes.
We just become facilitators of that. But in the last few years, we've gathered a lot of knowledge around the energy systems of the body. Around the power of the subconscious in actually creating disease and healing disease in the body. And discovering the root causes of illness, and particularly the emotional causes of illness, disease, and pain in the body. So I suppose that's just a bit of background.
That's just a bit of background. Yes, yes, Andrew, I agree with you. I rather wish that we had all ears in on the conversation, but I'll speak to Diana in a bit. I do agree with you that nobody else can heal anyone else, that it is a choice that each of us make, and that, basically what we can do as healers and facilitators is just create that space for healing for people who are willing to do so.
Well, I would say it's definitely a 50-50, but it's for optimal healing, there has to be that 50-50. But we do find, that, many people come to the clinic, and including children, where, they have no actual kind of real idea about healing themselves. But many people within their own sort of energy systems are blocked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the life force energy is not flowing due to physical, mental, emotional chakra trauma. That has affected it's like the magnetic field around the earth. Each person has this field of energy. We interact with our environment, and we interact with others through this field. If the field is strong, then we will be healthy. Our minds will be healthy. Our ability to heal will be healthy. If these fields become weak, if they become damaged, it will affect our thinking, our mental state, our emotions, and allow and create a situation where disease and illness can come in the body. And we find that treating people with bioenergy, to stimulate the flow of energy through the body, and the techniques are not difficult. It's simple stuff, but to work with the person to stimulate the flow of energy through the body, the changes you can see in people is absolutely amazing. And the results that we've had, not just in Ireland but all over the world, have been outstanding. And we're moving into, we're actually moving out of Ireland. That's one of the reasons I'm here in South Africa, is because we've been working in Ireland, and we've actually trained therapists in Ireland, and it's become so popular. It's become widespread there. And for us, it's a natural kind of progression to actually to move out into a sort of a broader market. and to move into other countries, because we see the needs there. We see the needs, with people of all ages, all different kinds of diseases and illnesses, children, autistic children, children with ADD, ADHD, Asperger's, and these problems are not understood by the traditional sort of medical system, and even traditional sort of psychologists or psychiatrists. It's not understood, and they find that these kids, they don't really have a way to help them. They don't have a way to help them to improve, and one of the main reasons is because, again, they're dealing in sort of purely the physical. They're not looking at the deeper causes of why the child is like this. And the thing is that the hemispheres of the brain have to fully integrate, at 9 months. Now we all have these energy fields, but we also have our underlying energetic structure, right? It's like a blueprint or a map for the body. So as the child is conceived and then it grows and develops in the womb, they're needed for that child to grow to be a fully complete human being with fully complete functions, mentally and physically, emotionally. The problem is the field. The field is a biodynamic field, okay, which means that if there's physical, so even if there's physical shock or trauma, that can impact on the field. But also, if the field is damaged, and again, if impactful, or even if the emotion. So when people or children are exposed to the shock and trauma, particularly at an early age, it damages that underlying structure. So as they're growing and developing, they're not growing and developing as nature sort of originally intended for them, so they never gain their full function. Okay, so when we treat children with the Hidden Mind protocol, we identify the trauma, we engage, and we use particularly use sound frequencies, but even bioenergy still works, in much of the same principle, to correct that underlying structure. So as the child then is growing and developing, they're coming back more and more into their correct, originally intended sort of structure, and I would say even for children with special needs, in particular, that the younger that you can treat the child, the better, because often people grow into these sort of incorrect patterns, so it's definitely beneficial for everyone, but I would say the younger the better. Do you know what I mean? You're giving them the best chance. But what we see, even from all ages, even if it is children, even into adults, is change in behavior issues.
And Andrew, I'm just going to ask you to say that again, just the last sentence.
Okay. So children that have special needs, autism, or even ADD, ADHD, even dyslexia, they have so many behavioral problems, behavioral issues, because their body has gone into complete stress response. There's a complete overproduction of stress hormones, and that's where you get these hyperactive behaviors. Children can't sit still. They can't behave. They can't socialize properly. And it's coming from this underlying damage. And that's the biggest thing we see change in these children, is that their behaviors start to change. They become calmer in themselves. They feel better in themselves. They can interact better with with their family members, with their schoolmates, with teachers, their learning improves, you know. So it really sets them on a better path for life, you know, to have the treatment. And even with dyslexia, we've been doing a lot of work with children, even adults with dyslexia, and we'd say we can practically cure dyslexia. That dyslexia is practically curable. So you won't find many people who can say that. We can say it because we've done it.
Another I think is particularly is depression and anxiety, and the hidden mind and bioenergy miraculously lifts depression and anxiety. We live in such a stressful world. Women in particular have so many responsibilities. They're trying to shuffle jobs, careers, homes, relationships, bringing up children, and they generally turn to antidepressants, which, as we know, is not a solution to the problem. And when I did the Hidden Mind and Bioenergy last year, I could see, treating people in Tom's clinics in Ireland, how it was shifting depression so incredibly well with just 3 or 4 treatments, that I decided that I obviously wanted to bring it back to South Africa as a healing modality, but I also decided that I wanted to bring it back to teach it, because once people come on the courses and they understand how the process works, it also consciousness and shifts their energy to another space where they've got a much higher understanding of how the whole protocol works. And also, I'm a mother myself. My eldest son was ADHD. It's about teaching people how to get balance into their life. So the body, mind, spirit balance. It's about nutrition, education, taking time out to relax, having an interest of your own. It's not just learning a healing modality. So we do quite a lot of work in very many different areas to uplift and empower people and to help them shift out of the fear zone, that they can take back their own power and learn how to heal themselves and their families. So it's not necessarily about being a therapist, but it's
Continue.
Can you hear us there, Petra?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so I'll just say a little bit more about the courses there as well. Is that, you know, as Danny was saying, that they can be well, what we find, you know, and particularly in Ireland again, is that so many of the people on the courses, maybe like 75% of this, they have actually come and experienced healing themselves, you know, within the clinic, and it just piques their interest, because, you know, it basically, you know, you go from living in a world that seems sort of purely physical, you know, and you're growing up in a society with, you know, the things that are valued are often very sort of superficial, you know, to basically learning and kind of discovering that there's so much more to our world that's sort of unseen, but people begin to feel it, because they actually begin to feel the energy. They feel you working on them, you know, and then they feel results. They feel themselves getting well, getting better, whether it's depression or anxiety or fatigue or, you know, special needs, you know, back problems, arthritis. Like, it's so many different issues that people have. But when people experience that healing themselves, you know, it opens up a whole new world for them. And we find that, you know, in the courses that some people, they come and they want to take it further. They want to go out and to treat people and help other people. And some people, you know, they enjoy it because it's learning more about themselves, you know, about sort of life and about health and healing.
Yeah, I would, you know, that's quite a lot of information to take in, and it's so beautiful. I absolutely believe in this. I believe that we can live in a world where we move away from going under the knife to cut out, an issue, or taking as prescribed medicine to somehow miraculously cure you. I really do believe that this is where it starts, and it's so beautiful to be speaking to two people who are on a mission, and so grateful for your dad, who's bringing this into the world. Because, and Diana, you would agree on this, South Africa, there is a huge lack in the system of healing people,
Yes.
and people healing themselves. And it's the media is responsible for this. The government's responsible for this. People are unaware of the tools available to us. I almost want to say God-given tools. This is what they should be teaching in schools. What they should be teaching in churches, in homes, but instead, everything is about the money. It's gone to corporate. It's gone ego, pride, money, profit.
If you want to know what's really going on in the world, every look, like medicine has its time, or it has its place. Crisis medicine has saved so many people's lives. Even antibiotics. If you have an infection that is threatening your health or threatening your life, you can take antibiotics. It'll kill the infection and save your life. But you don't keep taking them after that. You take them and the course is up, and then you go back to living normally. And even surgical procedures. We can save so many people's lives because of the knowledge that surgeons have. But the thing is, to treat ongoing chronic illness and disease, with medication, it's not the best way to deal with these issues. And again, it's just, look at natural healing. People have an innate ability to heal, and it just needs to be unlocked. And that's what doing bioenergy is about. That's what the hidden mind about, is unlocking that healing potential. But again, we see so many issues in our society. It does come back to money. Follow the money, and you'll see what's really going on in the world.
It is like that. At the same time, I see it as all part of the bigger plan. Of people stepping into that allowance of themselves. So not to say that the corporates are evil and that the medicine's evil and that's evil, but there is a lack of awareness for people to really take that into their own hands and into their own beings, and energetically working on their issues, where everything starts. I believe more in the energy aspect of it than on the physical aspect of it. So Diana and Andrew, there's so much to talk about. I mean, Diana, you mentioned that I should ask about living threads. Do you want to say something about that as well quickly?
Yeah, that's another modality that I do, but just to put it into context, with the hidden mind, we use 4 different mediums to heal. So we use the hidden mind protocol of investigation, which is based on kinesiology. So you dowse or you muscle test to be able to access the subconscious mind. We use stones, so crystals, to aid the healing process. We use sacred sounds. So Tom has tracked down sacred instruments from all traditions throughout the world, and these instruments are high frequency, and the ancients knew that they healed us. So that is a very important part of the therapy. But one of the other modalities that he uses are something called the colors, or vibrational heart codes, that were invented by a lady in Australia. They're called the living threads. And those two I've brought back to South Africa because they're very, very beautiful heart codes that heal us also on a vibrational basis. But they're very simple to use. You don't need a degree to understand them. You don't have to intellectualize them. You just have to sit with one of the cards or one of the books and place your hand or place it on a part of your body, and the vibration will shift any blockage, any problem within your energy system. And I was in Australia in November, December doing a 9-module course with morning clouds with life and give them other skills. Just another word I wanted to say with regard to what Andrew was saying earlier. When my eldest son was diagnosed with ADHD and various other dire things when he was an infant, there was no recourse at that time, that was almost 30 years ago, other than baby Ritalin they wanted to put him on. And at that time I knew that was just not a path I wanted to go, and went on that. But I also knew intuitively as a mother to massage him, to manipulate his little, to relieve some of the distress in his energy. And I think we as women and as mothers take to energy healing very, very naturally, because it is something that we can accept and we can understand. It makes sense. So I find a lot of women come on the courses, predominantly women, but we would like to attract more men. In Europe, it's about 50-50 on the courses, but I think as word spreads, hopefully, we will be able to get more men to come to participate.
Yeah, I would also like to see that, Diana, because I think it's so important, and I'm speaking specifically to South Africa, being in South Africa, and also the channel that's directed specifically for South African audience and South African women. I think, the men in South Africa and the Southern Africa, have all had such a hard upbringing. And everything's been sold to you as taboo, don't feel too much, don't go into that intuition, don't, be so soft, and I do feel that there's a massive requirement for South African awareness to expand to a more alternative way of healing. And the hidden mind is just such a beautiful, beautiful, the work that you're doing and the tools that you're using, it's so basic. And it's almost what's coming to me is that time and time again, year after year, people are being reminded to go back to the basics and use what has been used already, and then just, share that with the world,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and what I also see coming through now is all these ancient techniques and ancient tools for healing and ancient practices. A few individuals that really understand how it works, they're just making it more accessible and easier for people to understand, because I think that's also where it came in, is people couldn't understand the practices. They couldn't, maybe it wasn't translated in a way that they could really speak it and live it and be it. And I had a look at your website. I think it's incredibly informative. I would love for you to advertise on the She's Connected SA platform. We have mothers on there. And South Africa, if you go onto the social media, Facebook pages, women are crying out for help.
Yes.
They're not coming right by the doctors. They're not, the education system isn't working. The treatments aren't working. And if this is something that could, oh my goodness, if this is something that could help and assist and in balancing the scales for humans and human
Absolutely.
beings on the planet, then it's revolutionary. Beautiful.
Doing a massive, as you did mention earlier, like that it's kind of 50-50. For optimal healing, it is. We work with the people, but we also try to help them, and that's what we see happening now, and particularly coming from that's what I've seen there is people are taking their power back. They're taking responsibility for their own health, for their own healing, and I think that's going to have lives and across the society, because it's people, taking that power back and taking control of their own lives and their own destinies, and I feel that this is something that's going to happen and start to happen in other countries as well, including. So
it is, and people are very open to it. Andrew's dad Tom wrote this book. It was published last year, The Hidden Mind, A Journey of Reconnection. It is available from Tom's website, which is hiddenmind.ie, and it's also on Amazon, or you can get a copy from he's in South Africa. A very interesting read. The first part of this book covers the new science of quantum physics and how energy medicine works. So it comes with a lot of credibility. And then the second part of the book is Tom's journey, how the hidden mind works and how bioenergy works.
About the ancient knowledge and the ancient techniques. The thing is, people have been using energy healing for thousands and thousands of years, and you have a lot more knowledge, a lot more appreciation for sort of the natural forces and the natural energy that pervades all living, But we're in time now where science is actually starting to explore and to prove many of these, many of these old ideas, because there is actually science behind it, So I think it's a really exciting time. I think that's maybe, I think definitely, the healers, definitely women, I think are naturally, more intuitive, or naturally take to healing more. But I think it's something that attracts men, and it's attracting more men is that we can kind of quantify it a bit more, and we can sort of, put a little bit of it becomes a night in our therapy.
So we're losing. Sorry, Andrew. Just to, I don't want to cut you off, but we're losing a bit of what you're saying. So the connection isn't that bad. There's so much information to whoever's watching and will be watching this. I believe that we can live in a world where each and every one of us will have the capability and the capacity, or that expanded capacity to really just heal. I don't want to use the word just, because it's so much greater and miraculous than that. But you can find information on their website. Andrew, you said that you were moving to South Africa now?
No, I'm just
visiting.
Becoming back and forth.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Diana, do you just quickly want to give your website to the viewers, and also just your email address, how people can get in contact with you? I have made a little note on the YouTube video in the description, but just say that to people that are watching.
Okay. My website is www.hiddenmind.net. My email address is dianasmith@vodamail.co.za. And my contact telephone number is 082-3098 for philosophy in Sea Point. And then another talk is Church in Deep River on Friday evening.
Okay, so that's talks, yeah.
Can
I ask you a favor, Diana? Can you just make a note of that, or just invite people to the events on the She's Connected SA platform? I think you can post on there. It'll go into the side column, but people will see it and then know about it. Yeah.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't want to cut you off, but we're losing connection, and it's so frustrating because I think that the information that you have to share with me and with the rest and with those who will be watching is so important. I'd really love to see you on the network and on the platform, and let's see how She's Connected SA can be a part of your journey and your vision and just your active participation and your contribution to the healing of the world and the people in it, and then everything else.
We'd love to be a part of it, Petra. We really would. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, and then perhaps maybe we should do some more interviews. Maybe just have it recorded where people can actually go to online and just watch the information as you speak. Everything is available on Google Hangout, so you can do a few videos. I'm sure that you have videos already that you've done. So I'd like to invite you as a mom. If you do have problems with your child and you just you're on the losing streak and you don't know what to do, even with a partner or even if you're experiencing anxiety and depression, which I know a lot of people are at the moment because of the shift and what we're going through at the moment. So just contact the Hidden Mind. What a lovely website, what a lovely vision, what a lovely contribution they have had in people's lives, and also facts. You've got the science backing you, you've got the facts that you can share with people, and the results, which I think is amazing. So yeah, try this route, live your divine life. Is there anything else that the two of you want to share with us before I say goodbye?
Anything? Nope.
Nope,
I'd just like to say thanks very much for having us on, Petra, and hopefully we'll connect up again sometime. And I hope this has been informative for anyone, and you might see some of them soon.
Yeah, you know what? I have another network as well called She Africa, and I know that in Africa there's a big lack, and I would definitely like to see you expand. I just see all these amazing tools coming out all over, and people are taking to it. So there is a collective consciousness of human beings, and we would like to live a better life on this planet, and that is what's happening at the moment. I believe in that.
Petra, that so resonates with me because it's my vision to spread this throughout Africa.
Yeah.
So not just South Africa, becoming healing, and women are so open to it, and particularly African women, and they understand it. So yes, that sounds awesome. I look forward to a long association with you.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for just thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye. I have another interview after this. Add me on Facebook. I'd love to be connected to the two of you. There's lots of amazing people that I'll be talking to, and let's see what else is possible for the healing of all on this planet. Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, amazing. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.